Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we got some good old Rev says Desu addressing the elephant in the room. So yeah, so if you haven't been on the internet on Rev's side of Twitter recently, his and his wife's contract, his wife, as he would put it, his wife's contract were with Advance were terminated. And the reason why they were terminated is because of peer pressure from those people, I'll say. So yeah, it's nice to see that AdvancedGG likes to play politics, even though at the end of the day they're a fucking supplement company, a dietary supplement company. But oh well. They want to give, the Gooning company, GamerSups, all the clientele. Fuck it, it is what it is. There just won't be any competition for them for a while till someone else decides to make their own. But yeah, but then again, it's like, how many companies have we seen try that and just fail? Like, what happened? I don't know if Glitch is still going good. I know there was one called Glitch. I think that was Wildcat's attempt at one of those. And there was another one that it was by like by like a whole bunch of esports people that was like supposed to replace your breakfast and whatnot as like a drink. Like, how many of these companies have we seen and then just die out? So yeah, they terminated his contract and whatnot. So yeah, now he's addressing the elephant in the room.
You guys are here. So I have to start this video off by addressing the elephant in the room, so to speak. So after nearly 5 years of countless successful campaigns and introducing thousands of you guys to their company, Advanced has terminated the contracts of both me and my wife, Darling Straub. Now, I considered...
Yeah, that's wild given the amount of drops Rev's had. Mind you, I've never once bought AdvancedGG. I am the type of person who is willing to give a powder drink a try, okay? I have tried G Fuel. I have tried G Fuel's recharge, not the recharge shit, the hydration powder. The one that's decaffeinated, but it's just for with like a whole bunch of electrolytes and all that stuff. It's basically like liquid IV. I've tried GamerSups. I've tried GamerSups decaf, or whatever the fuck it's called. Where is that tub? I don't even see it. That's nice. I don't see the tub that doesn't have any caffeine in it. That's interesting. What the fuck? Is it down here? Oh, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I've tried Madrina's. I tried their charged shit. Their whatever it is that they had for R6 Siege, that promo, I charged it. I tried it, never again. I'll never try it again. It gave me diarrhea. So I'm like, all right, which sucks ass because I also ordered a whole bunch of other ones from them to try. Because they're primarily coffee. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to really try them. I'm like scared to try them and then have the shits at like 3 a.m. and be like, great. So yeah. Yeah, but and I was like, I was down to try Advanced. I was just, if Rev released like a drop down the line that, that I was like, oh, that's cool. I'd buy that just for the decal of the tub alone. I would have tried it, get my thoughts on it. But I guess not. Now,
many factors
oh well.
when deciding how to respond to this. Yesterday on Twitter, I said I was going to make a full video, but after reflecting on things, I think it's in the best interest of everyone if I make a brief statement here and try to move on. Now, if you want additional context as to...
Realistically, that's what you should do. You shouldn't really try to like... He should just try to move on from this at the end of the day. It's like, oh, well, it happened. Dude, making a video... like a full-blown like hate video over this won't really do anything. So it's just like, I'm hoping this is just his thoughts, his reaction to like the news of this and what he felt at the moment. That's what I'm hoping this video is, and an update on how he's gonna go further. That's what I think this video is gonna be.
What transpired here over the past couple of days. There are plenty of YouTube videos already out there, as well as just general context on Twitter. All this was so public, you can
Yeah.
figure out the narrative and why people like myself and countless others are not only shocked, but incredibly disappointed by.
Yeah, if you thought that, oh, it's just that they terminated Rev's contract, no, that's not the end of it. So if you don't know, Rev replied to another VTuber who was like who's anti-ice and whatnot in some goofy ass way. You know, not the best response from Rev, but it's like, who cares? It's the internet. Just grow the fuck up if you're an actual adult. Who cares? Sticks and stones, you know? But apparently there were other VTubers who just threw a hissy fit over it and demanded that AdvancedGG terminate their contracts. And they did. And it turns out that the VTubers who were demanding this have said even worse things than what Revis stated. And they started going back and deleting their tweets because management from AdvancedGG told them to go do it. They themselves stated that AdvancedGG's management told them to go and start wiping tweets because it would look problematic based off of what they recently did. So it's like, bro, what a bunch of fucking snakes, if I'm being honest. AdvancedGG and everyone there. Which is why, if you even follow me on Twitter, you know, I stated that this is a good thing. Like, you know, everyone's like, oh, poor Rev, poor Rev and his wife, it sucks. And I'm like, bro, this is a good thing. Y'all should be celebrating because now, A, we know who the snakes in the grass are, you know, and we know who to stay away from. And B, it gives Rev and Straub an opportunity to probably pursue a company that won't actually stab them in the back, or God willing, they open their own, you know, drink. But like I already like said, like there's so many out there, but like they could realistically open their own, you know, have it all be like the quote unquote based VTubers. Like I know Kirsche is like with gamer subs, but I feel like it'd be funny if they just got Kirsche and like Leaflet, Smugglana, all these other quote unquote problematic VTubers and whatnot. They got Asmongold too, just for shits and giggles. I feel like that'd be funny. But yeah, but like I see this as a positive for them, you know? Yeah, it sucks that the contracts got terminated, but at the end of the day, it's like we know that they're snakes. And at the end of the day, why would you be sad over your contract being terminated when you were working with nothing but a bunch of snakes, you know?
How all of this transpired. Now, if you want to support me, and many of you guys did through Advance for years, that's not an option. My code doesn't work, my page is gone, and if you want to support the channel, continuing on from this moment, the best way is to watch my videos, like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also join his channel.
And if you're a Giga Chad, drop a super thanks. You will get a heart from me, and that's probably the most direct and best way to support this channel. On top of that, I'm currently revamping my Patreon. I'll put a link to that in the pinned comment. Make sure to check that out. There's gonna be a lot of bonus content on there. Gonna really work on that. And also there's some other merch options I'm working on at the moment, but obviously it's not final yet. And when they are final, I'll let you guys know. But that is the situation. It's been a very disappointing and frustrating couple of days. Again, for the people who know the full context of what has transpired, you understand why a lot of people are upset about this, but I feel like it was in your guys' rights.
Yeah, I mean they're being hypocritical at the end of the day. AdvancedGG's choosing sides when realistically they shouldn't. They bent the knee, and now that they've given them an inch, you know they're gonna take a mile. But at the end of the day, all of Rev's fans are just gonna go wherever Rev goes. So like if Rogue gets them or G Fuel or Gamer Subs, whoever the fuck, they're just gonna start making bank. And honestly, I'd rather see them just make their own company. honestly. If I'm being real. Because, like, not gonna lie, yes, gamer subs is popular and fun, but it's like, bro, personally, I just don't like it. I don't like that they're so reliant on, the whole, oh, thirst trappy bullshit that they peddle to, like, get fans to buy shit. It's like, okay, I guess, all while their content creators say that they advocate for men's mental health while peddling porn. But sure, I digress.
As many of you are supporters of Advance, to understand what happened here and that I am no longer working with them and that is a final decision. So, speaking of other elephants in the room, who's got to do that? Well, Highguard. Yes, let's actually transition into some content
Oh
for today.
shit.
Wow. Imagine making content, not having to make these addresses about controversies. But Highguard is a game that came out recently. This was featured at the Games Awards, or the Game Awards, and, well, it fell on its face. This is a free-to-play
Yeah.
game. We talked about it a couple days ago. It started off with a pretty decent peak at
Is it still dying? Is it even less now than it was before?
around 97,000 players. But since then, yeah, that is one of the
Oh
most
shit.
brutal drop-offs we've ever seen. Like, this is Concordian levels of failure. At least, of course, the game is still going, but
Yeah.
it is not looking good. In fact, right now, it's sitting at around 12,000 in-game players, and that is an improvement. It's an improvement because they've made some very necessary changes, but since the release of this game, they've already removed from the creators of Apex and Titanfall from their description.
Ain't no way they actually remove that. Oh, that's so hilarious. Well, I mean, yeah, when all the criticisms from the streamers, from what we saw, or rather what I reacted to when it came to this, when all the criticisms were, oh, this feels like Apex Lite or pre-Apex or Apex Beta or Apex version 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you'd remove from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall because everyone's comparing it to Apex, but saying that Apex is better. And at the end of the day, you want your new game to be better than the previous game. And everyone's sentiment was not that. Oh man, that sucks.
It seems like
Or
the sort of supports and the prestige
poor Highguard, but at the same time, that's what happens when you hire Concord devs.
that was placed on this game is being removed. And of course, you look at other games, Schedule 1
That's sad.
right now has double the concurrent player number than Highguard. That is crazy. And keep in mind, again, Highguard is free to play. But of course, one of the highlights here is that games journalists are doing everything in their power.
No, Shaw, they're actually being like that. Highguard has made some people unhinged, but that doesn't mean the game shouldn't be criticized. What? Baldur's Gate 3's director called for civility and the amid the hyper intense backlash. What? What are you talking about? What do you mean it's made some people unhinged? They're just they're giving valid criticisms. The maps are too big. You need to either make the map smaller or increase the party size or change the structure of the game altogether. Instead of it being PvP, some people tossed around PvPvP, doing 3 teams of 3. I've tossed in the idea of doing 4 teams of 3, or just increasing it to 6v6s, 5v5s, something like that. Make the maps, I don't know if I said make the maps smaller, but I know I said I used Nuketown as like a baseline of like a small map for 3v3s, something maybe even smaller than that, in my opinion. But like, they need to make changes fast. Like, a lot of people are saying that the characters aren't really interesting. There's only like 2 that are actually interesting in terms of like their abilities and whatnot. And it's like, okay, Well, then revamp the characters, give them different abilities, rework them, make the abilities more interesting, more unique, you know?
To defend this game. Even when they're trying to criticize it, they're still throwing shade at anyone who dares to not like this game. So Kotaku here with an absolute
Oh, of
banger
course.
article saying Highguard has made some people unhinged, but that doesn't mean the game shouldn't be criticized. Unhinged, you say? Well, let's see what they mean by that. So, they say the launch of Highguard this week has reignited a debate around good manners. Over 100 people worked for several years on a project they were passionate about. Instead of everyone giving it a fair shake and casually talking about
What they did. They did. It's a multiplayer game that's free to play. You don't need to play, 50 matches to know if you're going to enjoy the game or not. You just need like one match, 5-10 minutes max to see if you vibe with something or not, you know? Like and that goes for a lot of games, you know? Look at Dark Souls, for instance. You guys fucking hate Dark Souls because you guys can't get past like some of the basic tutorial bosses. You know, to me, I'd say that's you guys not giving Dark Souls a chance. You know, you guys in Elden Ring would have been completely lost if it wasn't for the fact that the devs gave you guidebooks showing you where to go and how to play the game properly. You guys would have lost your minds if you had to actually experience the game the way new players had to experience it on release, completely blind. Because you've done it before with other Souls games.
what they did or didn't like about it, the conversation around the new multiplayer shooter was quickly subsumed by a torrent of knee-jerk negativity. Social media is full of people dunking on the game for clout, and Steam reviews are full of users who barely touched in on PC before.
Well, yeah, you don't, like I said, you don't need more than, for a multiplayer game to, okay, single player is completely different because single player games, there can be times where like it'll start off slow to ease you into it, then it picks up on the action. You've seen that a lot with like single player games. God of War starts off like that. You start off slow, you're chopping down a tree, carrying it, going to you do a little bit of combat, fight a few of the Dwagar or whatever the fuck they're called. I think the Dwagar are the fucking dwarves from fucking Baldur's Gate. D&D. But you fight the whatever the fuck they're called, the things at the start, and it eases you in, and then you start getting into it, right? Same thing here, but that's for like every single player game. Spider-Man, same thing. Spider-Man starts you off slow, eases you into it, the first one, and then by the second one, because it's Miles, it starts you off slow, eases you into it because it's introducing you new mechanics like his abilities and whatnot. But by Spider-Man 2, the game already assumes you know basically what you're doing, and it throws you into a Sandman fight. Just immediately, pure carnage and chaos. The newest thing that it teaches to you is the web, the flight suit, But other than that, it's like okay, it assumes you already, because you already played the other game, so it assumes you know what you're doing. So it takes time for story single player based games to like get good. So yes, you need to invest a little bit of more time into those to see if you're going to enjoy it or not. But multiplayer, you know whether or not you're going to enjoy a multiplayer game based off of the first 1 to 2 matches. You'll get an instant feeling for whether you like it or not. And I say 1 to 2 matches, maybe three max. 3's pushing it, because your first match is you figuring out if there's no like firing range. Your first match is typically you figuring out how the keybinds and all that stuff, figuring out your sensitivity, trying to get all that shit done. So I wouldn't really count that as an actual full-on match, because that's typically shit you should do in a firing range if the game has it. So once you're you get your controls down and your sets down and you actually play it and you're like, all right, I don't like this, then that's totally valid in my opinion.
Rushing to grade it almost entirely based on hardware performance. Well, that last part's fair. A lot of people gave up on this game instantaneously because they literally couldn't even get a lobby to play
That
in because there wasn't
sucks.
enough players. The 3v3 style was really awesome.
How was there not enough players with 90K players? Wasn't it like 94.3K players on launch? How is that not enough to find lobbies fast enough? That's insane. Whatever.
Off-putting. And we'll talk about that in just a second because they made some adjustments to these sort of
Yeah, I could have swore they had so many players that crashed the servers. Like, I could have swore that's what they said, but all right.
matchup dynamic. But again, they're calling people unhinged for not liking this game and calling it a knee-jerk reaction when some people just instantly knew this game was not worth their time. The gamer also has come to the defense of Highguard,
Of course.
saying Highguard's failure shouldn't matter this much.
It should.
It shouldn't? Because this, as
it should, because this goes to show that you can't just Frankenstein monster a video game out of whatever's popular at the time in shooters. You know, that's also another thing that I saw. I saw someone else post that they stated that High Guard felt like a shooter game that took bits and pieces out of every other popular successful shooter and tried to combine it into one. Therefore, it tried to be a jack of all trades, master of none, and it backfired because the game had no identity. It wasn't unique. It had nothing that made it special because at the end of the day, it's just an amalgamation of what makes every other game special. You know, if you take the special out of every other game and try to put it into one game, that isn't your recipe for success. You're not going to create something more spectacular, more special than what they had. You're just going to make something that's subpar.
Taku said this is a game developed by over 100 people.
That's sad.
They put on the label from the creators of Apex and Titanfall. So they really hyped this up. It was featured at the Game Awards. Like, this was a big deal. Okay, this was supposed to be a very hype project, but it fell on its face instantaneously. But according to the gamer, it shouldn't matter this much. It should matter. This should be a lesson. And one of the interesting things is that, well, people are defending this.
Like, I will never understand this weird viewpoint, I guess you want to call it, from these individuals where, there's no such thing as failure. It's like, what? Like, they don't want to address any of their failures. They want to just hide whatever their failures are. They want to pretend everything is successful. And it's like, no, because that's literally how you stay stagnant. That's not how you grow. If you can't acknowledge your own shortcomings and your own failures, then how exactly do you expect to grow in anything? You know, this failure of a game should matter because now they should realistically use this as a learning experience for their next game. You know, if they want to say, all right, we fucked this one up, back to the drawing board, they can see why this one failed, and then their next game could be better, or see why this is failing and try to save it by making the appropriate changes that the streamers are suggesting, you know? Like, okay, here's the thing. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, you say streamers shouldn't blah, blah, blah. Like I know that some people are going to make an argument of like, oh, I thought we shouldn't listen to streamers when it comes to video games. But like, that's only for successful video games, okay? For instance, in this case, High Guard is failing. Their streamers are suggesting actual valid criticisms and changes that they should do. And a lot of the fans, from what I have seen, mind you, from what I have seen, are agreeing with a lot of these people's changes that they're suggesting. Okay. there's a massive difference from that and streamers saying, "Oh, Battlefield needs a BR or Battlefield needs a rank mode," you know, because my favorite game has this and that and this. There's a mad difference because Battlefield is already a successful franchise in and of itself. It doesn't need any input from streamers to be successful. It outsold Call of Duty. So right then and there, they could have just ignored everything streamers said as proof. But Highguard, on the other hand, is failing drastically. And streamers, from what I've seen, actually want it to succeed. Like Doki Bird's out here saying, yeah, she would love to see it. At least that's the impression I got from the clip that I saw. You know, she'd want to see this game succeed, so that way it could probably make it to the esports scene. But like I said, you have to focus more on your casual player base because you have no actual, fail safe. Or if you lose the casual player base, you can't really focus too much on the competitive base. If you want to focus on the competitive scene, then in your ranked mode, you can have an entirely separate patch, entirely separate balancing format, where whatever is OP and casuals gets drastically nerfed. Everything is heavily nerfed. Everything's more balanced and ranked. So that way skill can shine. But in norms, everything can be the Wild West of broken institution,
Okay, I'm seeing people defending this by saying Highguard is the perfect example of people asking for something new, and when it comes, they don't support it. Really?
Well, the issue is Highguard isn't something new. It's an amalgamation of old concepts thrown together. And they're expecting people to, be this dumb and think that this is something new.
What's new? Yeah, ask here in the comment section, what is your example of something new? It's nothing new. It's like 6 games into one and not done good. I 100%.
Yeah, that's because you have like devs from like 6 different fucking games inputting what they believe will make this successful. Like, bro, I literally read some of those developers. You had Concord devs, you had Apex devs, Titanfall devs. I think I saw a few like God of War dev. I think. I know, man. I know for a fact. I know for a fact I saw Smite devs in there. So I was like, all right, I guess.
Disagree. Also, W Smug Editor. Okay. This person said, content creators pissed. Nobody wants to watch them play or something. I'm not really believing any of that. My dude saw a horse and his mind was
let's see what this response is. I'm not pissed. They spelled about wrong. Anything. Like, it's okay to understand, though, game is not for you. Highguard should have had betas. It ain't perfect, but it's a cool, like, 7 out of 10, bro. You're dreaming if you think Highguard's a 7 out of 10. But it's in no way mid or bad outside of optimization. It is bad. I like how you don't give any examples of, like, how it's good. All you say it's a 7 out of 10 that deserved that should have had betas. But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Highguard have a beta? Or am it might be thinking of a different game. But yeah, it's like, okay.
blown. This isn't new though. This is just rearranging the ingredients like it's a Taco Bell promo item. Pretty fair shakedown there. And I saw this. I thought this was pretty funny. This is a safe space if you like Highguard. And it's a gif of Dark Souls, which...
That's hilarious.
But in the replies, this person says, viewing it like a beta right now because the only complaints I have with it are so fixable. I really hate this mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, I really dislike this when people are like, yeah, a game, it's basically like beta on launch. No. Have these things fixed. If they're so easy to fix, why wasn't it done already? That is a very fair thing to say.
If they're very easy to fix, why are they? If these issues are such non-issues that they're so easy to fix, why did the game release with these issues to begin with? How did no one in quality assurance catch these issues before game release? How did none of the beta testers that they hired to play these games catch any of these issues? If there's such easy issues to fix, how did they release with them then?
I do not like this. It is excusing.
Yeah, this mentality is the type of mentality that leads to AAA companies releasing games at $80 a pop with $30 worth of content, then expecting you to buy a $30 season pass on top of that to get the content that should have originally been included in the game on release, but they're releasing it as DLC and patches because they needed the money apparently yesterday, so they have to release a unfinished game. But trust me, it's okay to have this kind of mindset.
Mediocrity in the production of a game. Who cares what it looks like on launch? It's just the beta. No, it's the launch. It should be ready. If these things are so fixable, it should have been done already. But they did fix something. And this is definitely a W for how.
Oh, they added 5v5s. That's stupid. Okay, well, never mind, actually. I was about to say it's stupid for it to be a limited time mode, but obviously adding that right now as a limited time mode would be good. So that way, while people are playing this as a limited time mode, they could try to figure out how to make it permanent, and be like, oh, next patch, oh, you thought it was gone? Haha, well, guess what? Now it's actually permanent. And we're releasing smaller maps for the 3v3.
Guard. So they added a new 5v5 limited time mode, which 5v5, from people who are experiencing it, they think this is a massive upgrade. Like if this was available on launch, things might have actually been different. See, that's the problem when you introduce a game as a beta. People are turned off and they're not coming back. This is being very well received, but the player number has not recovered whatsoever in any sort of meaningful way. This came way too late. And again, good on them for doing this, but there's a reason why people are not going to come back. It was just that bad on launch. And also, it is important to point out, limited time. So I guess they're going to see how it works out. I think they're going to keep this 100%.
Well, yeah, they sort of have to
bring back any substantial amount of players. And then you can see Jeff Keighley still trying so hard to prop this thing up. He's been shilling this game so much that you must think he has some financial interest in it. Like it's that much. And this game,
not gonna lie, I don't even know who this is.
game just hasn't panned out the way I'm sure he thought it would. But let's continue. It appears that the studio and its CEO,
oh my god,
are mad at the toxicity.
Of course. When you don't have a 95% positive review score, obviously every fan is toxic. It's not because you released a subpar product. No.
Saying the toxicity is challenging. Was there a different way? Was there a better way? And I don't know the answer to that yet today. I would not say that publicly.
Yeah.
Basically saying I don't know how to make this game better. Well, we saw.
Yeah, you're basically admitting that you have zero clue how to run your company efficiently, which is not something you want to be admitting on the internet, especially when you have a video game you're trying to actively save.
One example, 5v5. Should have been there on launch, but of course, talking about toxicity, there's plenty of people have made valid criticisms of this game, but trying to veil it all as toxicity is, well, pretty expected. But there was some more from that interview where they're talking about dealing with the internet. And they say, unfortunately, the reaction to the trailer was, let's say, mixed. No, it was extremely negative. And they continue saying there were a few reasons for that. There's a general apathy towards online shooters today. People were perhaps hoping for Half-Life 3 or a God of War to close the awards, and the trailer itself just failed to excite. it led to a harsh backlash towards Highguard. Disgruntled gamers were calling it the next Concord, and even the media joined in. Yeah, the media joined in, largely defending you nonstop and
Yeah.
talking about the knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a little bit odd that you're saying the media is against you when the media loves defending video games like yours that are failing and this just have massive, backlash against them. The media loves that shit. They love shilling for you guys. So I don't know why you're like sitting here being like the media joined in. The media's using their what other people are saying as examples of like the negativity, but they're trying to be positive about this. I don't think you should be you should be biting the hand that feeds you right now, my guy.
Reactions from unhinged people, as we've seen today. But also, they say there's been a bit of a shift in the online mentality and sentiment around these games. I don't know that we really let it affect us. We've been successful in building big franchises that stand the test of time by continually surprising.
Yeah, but that's with the help of other devs that actually have, a want and a drive to release an actual good product and not something subpar.
Our audience and dialoguing with them, and that's the intention here as well. Ultimately, when you look top down from a 30,000 foot view, shooters are still the rocket fuel that is propelling the game's business, both in monthly active users, in playtime, in revenue. The CAGRs are really positive, strong, and continuing to grow. 5 of the top 10 games on PC are shooters by MAU. We can go on and on with stats, but still, there's an undercurrent of sentiment.
Okay, and yeah, just because looter are not looter, just because shooters are like at an all-time high and they're the most replayed games, doesn't mean that just because you release a shooter, you're gonna see the exact same amount of success. That's like someone watching VTubers like, Saba and Mori Calliope, and then getting a $10,000 model going live and expecting that once they go live, they're gonna see those numbers day one within like 3 minutes. It's like, no, that's unrealistic as fuck.
And some disregard. I don't think you're going to change people's minds by basically saying everyone is being toxic and then turning around and also
Yeah.
saying, well, there's so.
Well, no, Rev, you don't understand. It worked for every other, company and product. I mean, just look at She-Hulk. They said the fans were toxic and that saved them. Just look at Rings of Power. They said that the fans were racist, and it clearly did them justice. They saw even better numbers. So yeah, clearly this works for them.
Many successful games in this genre, we're basically in good standing. No, those games didn't fall on their face instantaneously, especially as a free-to-play game within the first 24 hours of launch. This is a disaster. I think this is like crazy levels of cope, and they keep bringing up the old studios, the old labels that they had made. Well, guess what? You're so embarrassed by the connection, it's been removed from the description on
Yeah.
Steam. This game, unfortunately, might have had some potential, but as you can see, it has withered away. People are not impressed. And can they turn around? I think they can turn around a little bit, but all the way back to.
I think they could probably increase the 20 or the 12 to 20, but I don't think you'll be seeing any more than that unless, streamers come back, give it a chance, and they're like, holy shit, this is actually fun. Like, unless you can get streamers, like popular streamers, to come back once the game's good, then you might see a small revival with that if they're enjoying it and there's good replayability. But again, I feel like that time that needs to happen like within the span of 2 weeks. You cannot wait. Unfortunately, this is not this isn't another case where you can pull out like or pull off the biggest comeback like No Man's Sky. Sorry, you guys just aren't them.
The level of expectations they probably had set for this game, I don't believe so. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Again, thank you guys for all the
Yeah.
support. So many people have been in my DMs and leaving positive comments, and I know a lot of you guys will support the channel, whether it's directly through YouTube or Patreon or the future merch drops I know we're going to have. But yeah, it's just been a crazy couple of days, and I'm glad to just open up a video today and just record something. That's literally the best thing you can do. Just move on and keep going,
Move
because
forward.
what else can you do? Like wallow? No. Like, it's been a frustrating and disappointing couple of days, but it is what it is. This is unfortunately how a lot of things go with the current landscape we're in. I don't think things are really going to change anytime soon. So, just support me and your other favorite content creators in ways that make sense to you. And that's really all I have for today. So as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, I love that shit. Oh, look, here you have a more Kazana video regarding that. But yeah, it's so funny. The fact that this all happened just because he called out, or rather, he just called this person essentially dumb for their fuck I statement is so funny. It's just so funny, man. But at the end of the day, it's like Rev's doing Rev is like literally taking the power away from AdvancedGG and all these people. He's like, he's literally just turning the other cheek. He's like, I don't care. I don't got time for this. Oh no, you struck me. Here, let me turn the other cheek. Go ahead, boy. I don't really care. Let's get this over with. So yeah, all in all, at the end of the day, good thing he's just moving on and whatnot. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next one later.